Hi guys, I'm back with another arcade PCB repair video. Today on the bench we have a game called Super Cobra, which was made by Konami in 1981. It's a classic arcade game, a vertical shooter where you're flying with a helicopter, you're dropping bombs, firing rockets, etc. It's a definite classic. I bought this PCB on the web as non-working, and as always we are going to try to fix this PCB, of course, and go together through the repair process step by step. So hopefully you can pick some clues up for your own arcade PCB repair. So let's start right away. Okay, the first thing that I noticed is that, it's not really, the PCB is not really complete. There's some legs and, spacers between the PCB missing. This is a 2-board stack. There's some cardboard in between the boards here. I think we will just hook this PCB up and go for a test and just see what it does. But something that I immediately noticed when looking at the board is that this, this socket seems kind of misaligned, and the IC is not really in the socket. So we might want to look at that before we start up the PCB. And also, which is a bit more unpleasing, is this, I don't know, somebody took this IC out of the socket and didn't put it back in right as it looks. So these pins are probably shorted over here. So we will realign those, and when that is done, I think it would be safe to go for a test. Okay, just to show you, this is actually very common. If you are getting your hands on a non-working PCB, maybe somebody already fiddled around with it and tried to fix it, and stuff like this happens. So just watch out for these kind of errors before you actually apply any voltage to the board. Okay, so I just hooked up the board to my test setup and started the game, and actually I thought, the game is working, so there's no repair, the video is over. But that is not actually true, because as you can see, the game kind of starts up and looks promising, but after a short amount of time, there's actually, like here, there's some kind of error which then forces the game to reset. In the auction, the seller mentioned that the game just shows garbage on the screen, but this probably had something to do with the IC legs that we already repaired, because we saw the error on the first glance. But the board is not fixed completely, as there's those resets happening. So we'll have to troubleshoot those and find out where those problems might come from. One more thing that I actually just did before we started the game for the first time was that I actually clipped off this capacitor, because it was bent way over to the side. And as you can see, it was kind of disintegrating also. And there's the risk of it shortening the board. So I removed this, and we will eventually replace it. It will not be really completely necessary for the board to get running, I guess. At least not with this modern power supply that we are actually using. Okay, so the first thing I actually did now is to actually separate the two PCBs, and I just thought about how to start this repair. And well, obviously with those ICs being damaged up front by not putting them into the socket correctly or removing them from the socket incorrectly, it would be probably quite a good idea to actually start to check all of the socketed chips on those two PCBs for damage. Just removing all the ICs from their sockets, looking if the legs are bent or if they are okay. Maybe if they are corroded or anything, I could clean them up. So that would be a first thing to do, I guess, to make sure that everything is really in place nicely and has good contact. Okay guys, so I was just reseating all the ICs. I started on the on this main CPU board, and I reseated the CPU and those EEPROM chips over here, which are socketed, and also I reseated those logic chips which are socketed somehow. And now I was switching when I was switching over to the sound PCB, to the top PCB, I noticed something peculiar, and that is that this IC, don't know if it is visible, but one of the legs seems to be a bit short. So one of the legs is actually being damaged. It's the IC coming from the socket here. I can't really see that the rest of the leg is still stuck in the socket. I looked into this little slot here with a microscope. I don't see anything in there, so we have to repair this leg, I guess. I don't know if it was damaged when somebody removed this IC before. Somehow also this well, as we are just talking about this, you can see that this IC at some point has been soldered into some kind of PCB. So it still has solder traces on the legs. So I don't know if this wasn't socketed originally. The socket actually looks different than the other sockets on the PCB for the CPUs here, for the sound. So maybe somebody added this socket. Well, yeah, but this IC leg is damaged. So we will fix this, and maybe this will help to get the board back working normally. Okay, I just noticed that the socket actually was put in by somebody at a later point in time, obviously because not all the solder connections of the socket didn't look that nice. So I actually reheated those connections and resoldered the socket. I think this should be all right now. Okay, and here's how the repaired IC leg looks like. Turned out quite nicely. I did just remove one of the legs from this IC socket and actually soldered it on as kind of an extension leg. And one more thing I did is actually I cleaned the edge connector of the PCB. It was showing some signs of corrosion, using a fiberglass eraser, which is a very handy tool to clean corroded parts. Also, I use this for IC legs, and you can really nicely clean corrosion of metal parts with this tool. So highly recommended if you are into arcade PCB repair to get one of these. Okay guys, so well, after those steps we did here, I have to say that the game is actually appears to be perfectly working now. So sound, gameplay, everything seems to be all right, and no more resetting or crashing or anything as far as I can tell. So this was a short or quick repair, I'd say, but well, sometimes it isn't that complicated. We didn't even have to get out our logic probe or look at any schematics or anything. We just had to reseat some ICs which were inserted into the sockets improperly, and we did actually resolder one of the sockets which wasn't soldered in so nicely, and we had to repair one IC leg. We cleaned off the edge connector and well, removed one capacitor that was looking like it wanted to make a short on the PCB because it was falling apart. And well, after those steps, board's working fine. So I hope you're not actually disappointed that it was that easy, but sometimes that's just how it is. The repairs can turn out to be pretty simple, which is good, of course. So no bad feelings if the repair isn't really demanding the last of us. So again, thank you very much for watching. Next repairs are coming up very soon. As maybe a small preview, I have an Atari PCB here, which is a Dig Dug, and which is showing garbage on the screen. I didn't really look into it, or didn't really check what could be wrong with the PCB, but I will actually, as a next object, I will grab this PCB and try to look into that. So thanks for watching, guys, and as always, see you in the next vid. Yes, made it through the first stage. 1,000 miles cleared. Woohoo! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, again, thanks guys for watching.